Welcome back, everyone. And in today's music theory video lesson, we are going to learn how to determine basic chord names. This is a very real applicable skill. All right, so the first thing when we determine names is we want to make sure that our chord is tertian. Okay, so it needs to be tertian in nature. And that just means that, remember, we're trying to build this thing in thirds. So if you get something that's totally not thirds, that's a really big red flag. Next, remember that the chords may be inverted. Oh, that's a real big one, because this is one that really messes people up. They get this one all sorts of mixed up. And so let's look at some examples. So let's say you found something, right? You're playing some music, and then you play something really pretty, and you go, wow, that's cool. Did I just make a new chord? Well, you have to find out. You can determine it. And so you look up the notes, and you go, well, okay, I've got an E note, I've got a G sharp note, and I have a B note. What is that? And so here's what I would do. Here's the approach that I would take. Let's go ahead and start from left to right. And you could start from any one of these notes, but I'm just choosing left arbitrarily, right? So you could choose, I could start from B, I could start from G sharp, or I could start from E. But I'm going to go ahead and start from E arbitrarily. So what I would do is go, okay, well, let's see. I know what the chord formulas are, and I know that chords have to be built tertian. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and start building some scales. And so let's see, how about the E major scale? E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. And then I would think about, well, can I find this collection of notes in that scale? And I would go, well, let's see, I've got an E here, I've got a G sharp there, I've got a B there, and I'm just looking for the notes. And then I sit back and look at it and I go, oh, okay, wait, hold on. That looks like 1, 3, and 5. Oh, I know what 1, 3, and 5 are. 1, 3, and 5 is going to be E major. Okay? And so that's how I would solve that problem. And so there's your answer. That's an E major chord. Now let's look at the next one. And once again, we want to do the same exact process. And so I'm going to start here from the left arbitrarily. And let's see. So I would basically start off with my F sharp major scale. Okay. And so that would give me F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, and F sharp. Okay. And then I would look at this and I would go, okay, well, let's see. I've got F sharp, I've got A, and I've got D. And I would go, okay, that gives me, let's see, it looks like that gives me 1, 3, and then this would be 4, 5, 6. Okay, well, that gives me a 1, 3, and a 6. And I would stop right there and I'd go, well, maybe there's a better way. And actually, this wouldn't really give me a 6. Do you see how that what I have here is a D and this is a D sharp? Okay, so this would give me a 1, 3, and a flat 6. So if I started from F sharp, then I would have 1, 3, and flat 6. And that right here is not very tertian. So let's try it again, but this time let's do it from A. Let's see what that's going to look like. So from A, we would have A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. Okay, and so once again I go, well, I've got an A, I've got a D, I've got an F sharp, and what does that look like to me? Let's see, that's a 1 definitely, and then my D, that's a 4, and then this is a 6. Oh, that looks even worse, right? That looks even less tertian. It's not in thirds, so I've got, oh, I'm sorry, not F sharp, and that looks like from A I would have a 1, a 4, and a 6. Okay. And so now I'm just going to go, well, what if I just tried it from D? So I'm just kind of rotating through these until I can find one that seems like it's going to be the best match. You might be looking at this and going, gosh, that seems like an awful lot of work. And it can be. If you're very comfortable with your scales and you're very comfortable with your chords, actually this process is very quick. So here I go, well, let's see, I've got a D, I've got an A, and I've got an F sharp. Okay, so that looks like 1, 3, and 5. Aha! There we go. Okay, so then this would be 1, 3, and 5. Now that, to me, is the D major chord. So this is D major. So that is the name of this one. And actually, we did it in yellow before, so let's keep our colors here consistent. So this is D major. Now, a really key point about this, notice that the chord was inverted. This is not the order that it's given in terms of music theory, right? 1, 3, and 5. This was actually given in the order of what? 3, 5, 1. So kind of all mixed up. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But what we want to do is try to find the simplest name. Now, could I come up with a name for this one? Yes, I could, but it probably wouldn't be pretty, and I could come up with a name for this one. So I could have also called this maybe some alternative names. I could have called it F sharp major flat 6. I could have called it F sharp major flat 6. That would be okay. People would look at me funny though. Don't do that. If you do that and you're just trying to be impressive, it's not going to impress anybody. They're not going to think you're very intelligent or that you know anything about music. I also probably could have called it maybe an A sus4 add 6 or add 13. A sus4 add 13. Okay, I could have done something like that. And if that didn't quite make sense, that's okay. But the point is that I could have come up with multiple names that would have explained these situations. The problem is they're not the simplest names, right? F sharp flat 6, actually, that to me is not very simple. D major is as simple as it's going to get. So let's keep things simple. All right, let's go ahead and look at another example. And in this example, the first thing that I want you to notice is that we have multiples, right? So I've got F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, D, and D. Here's what I can do with my multiples. Goodbye. You can get rid of them. They don't matter. So it doesn't matter if you have the same notes over and over and over again. If you have multiples, get rid of them. It's just confusing. And so when I really think about this, all I'm really left with, I'm left with the notes F sharp, D, and B. And so once again, we're going to arbitrarily start from the left side. If you can do it quicker because you can kind of see something, maybe you know your scales very well and you can kind of see, oh, it's not, this scale or that scale, then fine. But I'm going to arbitrarily start from the left side. And if I did that, let's go and write out our F sharp major scale. And as I do that, let's see, we're going to have something like this: C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, and back to F sharp. And if I did that, I might have an F sharp, I'm going to have a B, and some kind of right here, this has to be flatted to a D. So altogether, this would give me 1, 4, and flat 6. So this gives me 1, 4, and flat 6. That doesn't seem like it could be the simplest name. Let's see if we can find something a little more simple. And so once again, I'll write out my scales and I will start from D major, or D this time, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D. And let's see, I can see that I've got D, I can see that I have a B, and I have an F sharp. What does that look like? Well, if I think about that, that's going to give me 1, 3, looks good so far, and 6. Okay, not bad, not bad. Could I find something a little bit better? Well, let's try one more. It's only one more note left, and I could try the B major scale. All right, and so B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, back to B. And let's see, here I would have a B. I can see that I have a D sharp, so D sharp for that, or D. And then I also have F sharp. And aha, there's an aha moment here. I have a 1, a flat 3, and a 5, right? So here's my 1. Take the D sharp, you flat it, you get a D. And then here's F sharp as is, and that gives me my 5. And then it turns out that this is going to be my simplest formula. So what is 1, flat 3, and 5? Well, that would be B minor. And so that's what the name of that chord is. All right, so one last thing here, and let's take a look at the notes G, C, and D, and let's see what those look like. So once again, I'll arbitrarily start from the left side: G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. And again, if I think about the degrees here, I've got a 1, I've got a 4, and I have a 5. Okay, well, 1, 4, and 5, cool. That actually, I remember a formula that was like that, and that would give me something like so 1, 4, and 5, that's going to equal a G sus 4. Cool, I'm done. Well, maybe. Let's see. I could also look at it like this. What happens if I again start from, how about C? D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. All right, well, see, this is a 1, and then I've got a D, that's a 2, and I got a G, that's a 5. Oh, wait, I actually remember there was something that was a 1, 2, and a 5, and that was a C sus 2. So which one is it? Is it a G sus 4 or is it a C sus 2? Well, the answer is it's both. Okay, so this actually could have both names. It could be G sus 4, it could be C sus 2. It's your choice, and it really depends on the surrounding musics. Like what else is around it? What other notes are around it? What is going to make the most sense? And if you go, well, I don't know much about functional understanding of music, then fine, then just pick one arbitrarily and it's perfectly okay. So this is an interesting key point. Sometimes chords can have more than one name. Okay, so we learned a few things today. Chords can have more than one name. We also learned that if we have multiples of the same, that we can eliminate them. And we also learned that we always want to just basically write out our major scales over and over and over again, and we choose the simplest name. This one had multiple names, as we saw: D major, F sharp flat 6, A sus4 add 13. Those are all names, but D major is certainly the simplest one.